go ahead and call the May meeting open for Tennessee Ridge Commissioner meeting. I'll open it with a word of prayer here. Lord, thank you for this day, Lord. Just go with us, Lord, and help this commission members, Lord, make the right decisions for our city. Go with us and lead us and guide us. In thy name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Diane, you want to do a roll call?
Yes, sir. Mayor Odom,
Here?
Darrell Ellison,
Here.
Brian Bumpus, Kenneth Donovan, absent, David Wood.
Here.
Also, I'd like to recognize Leslie Rucker, the city manager, Andy Lemons, the water operator, Sid Vincent, attending remotely, Michael Westerman from Rye Engineering, and members of the public.
Okay. First thing on the agenda is approve last month's minutes, regular meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second?
Who motioned?
I did.
Who seconded?
I did.
Darrell, did you
I
motion?
made the motion.
He made the motion.
Okay, I can't hear you.
I apologize.
Let's take a vote. Mayor Odom,
Yes?
Darrell Ellison,
Yes.
Brian Bumpus,
Yes.
Kenneth Donovan. I don't ask for
Skip over
him because, okay. And David Wood,
Yes.
that's 4 yeses. Motion passes. We'll accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
Okay. We don't have anybody here from public, so report from Rise Engineering. So you got the floor.
Okay. Well, the last update that we gave on the groundwater well was that there had been some issues going with them drilling. Believe it or not, more issues. But so since the last time they were trying to get the casing out, and that was the issue. Well, they ended up getting the casing pulled out. They drilled back down with new casing, got all that set, and then whenever they got everything ready, it was believed that the majority of the water was coming from the lower section because they had the casing in there embedded into rock. They didn't think anything was getting around it. Well, so they decided to grout in the casing to make sure none of the surface water was getting in or any, turbidity, that sort of thing. Well, grout went around the casing, got about 9 foot deep in the bottom of the well. And so whenever they pump tested again, it was only yielding about 13 gallons a minute, something like that, where it was doing 60 gallons a minute before, 70. So they spent I guess it was 2 weekends ago, just cleaning it out. They would pump some acid down in there that eats grout away. Got all that done, cleaned it out good, pump tested again. It was only yielding about 25 gallons a minute. So still, like a quarter of what it should have been. So what that tells us is that the majority of the water is actually coming from above, where we thought it was coming from below. So they tried to pull the casing back out to see if they could get the water back in from above that they had grouted out. They couldn't budge the casing. It wouldn't move. So
After you grout it in,
it's set long enough where they couldn't budge it. So what we did is moved, I don't know, it was probably 6 foot down towards that little creek and 6 foot over, put it right there in the corner of the property that was bought from Mr. Phillips. We went 2 foot in from this side and 2 foot in from the creek side. And that's where we marked to set the new hole. So they drilled that last week, got down to that 100 foot mark, 140, where they saw the fractures the first time, hitting water. It's spewing water out. Everything's looking good. So now that everybody knows the formation and how the water is working, what they're planning on doing, they have, and you have it outlined here in your packet too. But there's a proposed design. So a lot of things that they encountered on the first well was there's a real broken up zone there between anywhere from 90 to 160 feet. And they were running into it where it was even rocks were just kind of pouring in the hole and making it difficult. So What they're trying to do now is screen out that section to where rocks and stuff can't come in there, and they're proposing to do a gravel / sand pack well. So one of the issues before, which is why we were trying to get to the lower zones, is that whenever we pump tested this upper zone, it had some turbidity in it. So the thought process is that this gravel and sand pack can filter out some of that turbidity. So I'll read through what they're proposing to do with this new well. So the new well design is, the plan is to install a 16-inch surface casing to approximately 92 to 95 feet. Then advance a 12-inch casing through the broken rock zone, which is what I was talking about before, that they had troubles with it trying to cave in on them, to approximately 140, 150 feet. Then an 8-inch borehole will go through the bottom of the 12-inch casing. So now it's going to be in solid rock pretty much all the way down to, this says 300 feet, but I talked to the well driller. I think we're going to try to go on down to 400 feet where that other zone was, to try to get some of, all that capacity that we can. But that 12-inch casing serves as a barrier, while they're able to set that screen in. And then they're going to come in with gravel, and so gravel will go in between the screen of the well and the 12-inch casing, and they're going to be pulling that 12-inch casing out as the gravel comes in. So that gravel is going to be filtering all this water out, hoping to get rid of the turbidity and keep the big rocks from trying to, cave in, especially once they have the screen in, it's going to be an issue. So that's sort of the plan on the proposed well. Right there, it says the gravel pack will extend to approximately 10 foot below the static water level, which I think is about 30 foot down into the casing hole. So you're looking about 40 foot deep is how far that gravel pack will sit in there. So I think that it's going to, I say this, but I think that now that we know what the formation is, that's part of the tricky part, is whenever they're drilling before, they're drilling blind. They're just drilling down into something that we had a test hole on, but don't really know anything else on. So I'm hopeful on this. And another thing to think of is that whenever we did the pump test before, whenever we thought that the majority of it was coming from below, is because we thought that all that was cased out. If you put casing down into rock 10 foot, you wouldn't think much water can get around it. So knowing that 50 gallons a minute or something was coming around that casing pipe down into the hole, there's probably just a little bitty margin there that, grout or water or whatever could get around there. So there's a chance that it could be more than 70 gallons a minute that's up there. But we don't really know that until obviously they get mobilized out there again. And
we can probably get back to the 65, 70 gallon a minute.
I think so. I think that's going to be doable, with the hope of more, but obviously not.
Well, I think that would be plenty.
Yeah.
Andy. That would be 65, 70 gallon a minute is a lot of water.
Right. At this point, we just want something,
Yeah. How's our time looking?
So I've been in talks with,
September?
yes, it's September. The only thing that concerns me is the water line, really, at this point. That's going to be going from that point to the connection of the raw water line. We met with Andy out there at where he, the connection point is, surveyed some more points out there. We submitted the plans for that raw water line to TDEC. TDEC is telling us that they need to see a drawdown test. So, that's going to be maybe 2 more weeks before they can get the screen in to be able to have all that set before they can do the drawdown test. So what I'm going to try to talk to them about tomorrow is, look, we did this drawdown test 10 foot over here. It's going to be the same practically results. Can we use this for now so you can approve our plans, get this water line laying, and then go from there?
Have we got to bid the water line out?
No, it's all under National Water's contract. So what we talked to them about is to reach out to some local contractors like Parchman,
Right.
ABS, whoever, and talk to them about, hey, they're local. They can come in here and knock it out real quick, and they'll just sub it out to them.
This has been a ride,
It has. It has.
an adventure. That's right.
I've talked to several different well drillers, talked to the geologists that we've had out here helping us this whole time, and all of them have said that they have never seen a well this complicated. You know, and I don't know what, luck we have to put us there, but
If it can happen, it has happened.
yeah, that's exactly right. That's
A
exactly
lot of
right.
money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I was trying to iterate to the state whenever I was talking to them is, all the issues. And, the lady at the state was saying that, well, everybody's had the same timelines and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't think you understand what we went through on this, but yeah. Yeah, but anyways, that's the one on ARPA, which is the big one. Does
Right.
anybody have any questions on that before I move on to the other projects?
I guess the driller is working with us he's doing everything he says he can do.
Yeah, that's right. There's been some stuff, happen that, like, for instance, whenever they couldn't get that casing out and they made a tool to try to fish it out, the tool ended up breaking off down into the well hole. That stuff is their error.
Right.
And that's what I've talked to them about that. And I'm saying, and I told them, look, because that's what, whenever they came up and was like, hey, we need to drill this other well, I said, okay, but you're not going to be able to charge for that,
Right.
that other
Yeah.
well that y'all kind of messed
Yeah,
up.
right.
So they're understanding of that.
Okay.
They haven't said anything about it. They're going to try to bill for it. So they're working. I think they're working with us pretty good for the most part. So
Could any of that have contributed to the end result of that well?
what do you mean?
Where
Like,
they lost the casing in there and then dropped some type of fishing tool to try to
Yeah,
get it out with?
so originally that's what we were thinking, that the grout kind of messed everything up. It was really the grout that because they were able to get the fishing tool back out and stuff. So that really wasn't a big issue, but the grout getting around. So there's ways to avoid grout from going down to the bottom of the hole if you take precautions. Like you can drop a grout basket in there or put a boot in it and plug the hole up before you grout. And then that makes it to where nothing can get past the casing, right? So, but even talking with Mike, the geologist who, we've had out there, he said he would have never thought in a million years that it would have got around the casing being embedded into solid rock, 10 foot in the ground. He said that, he's never seen that happen before, but anything could happen. So that's what I've tried to iterate it to him on this one. I said, look, it doesn't matter if you think it's going to happen or not. We're taking every precaution that we can on this this one. So I think some of that thing, were rushed and kind of cost us on time. But all in all, I don't think that the only thing that really kind of messed us up on that well was the grout and how they grouted it in prior to knowing that really the majority of the water was coming from above. If they hadn't grouted it in, then we would still be able to use the hole that's there, basically.
We deal with grouting. We grout in anchor rods sometimes. Once you put that grout in there,
Mm-hmm.
you can't pull it. You can't pull that rod back out.
Right.
It wedges it back.
Sets up.
It's tough
Mm-hmm.
what it does to it, how it wedges itself down in there.
Right. But as far as next steps on that, I was talking with the contractor today, the well drillers, and they said that the biggest lead time is the screen. They said that the screen's going to take 2 to 3 weeks to get in. So that's going to be our holdup on once they have this, the casing and stuff's getting here at the end of the week. They're going to be able to ready, to set up to start drilling to make the production well. It's just they have to wait on that screen so that we don't run into what we ran into this time, which is rocks coming in, stuff like that.
So what's the next step?
Next step is once all the materials come in, all the casing, everything, they're going to drill down that large surface casing, then they're going to drill down with the 12-inch. They're going to put the screen in, gravel pack it up to where they get it. Once they get everything set in, they're not grouting until after the pump test. I've already talked to them about that. So once they get the screen in and gravel packed, we're dropping the pump back down and we're going to do a 72-hour pump test, which is what the state's going to require. If they let me use the old pump test, for us to get the raw water line, then they're just going to let us sub that out once we get it. We'll send the updated data to them once it comes in. But
Does that set us back on building the pump house and everything?
It's, the longer that this well takes to get done, the longer it's pushing us back on that. So that's the bad part. The good part is that, I'm moving forward on the assumption that this is going to be a 100-gallon-a-minute well. So I have talked with our electrical engineers. I've talked to the pump supplier. We've got it's going to be a 15-horse pump at maximum. So we're going to go ahead. I actually got with MLEC today, sent them over the load sheet that they require to get us a pricing on how they're going to build their service. I'm hoping that they can get that over to me this week. If they do, we're going to pass that bill along to National Water Service, say, y'all pay this so it gets in their system. Because I think they're about 2 to 3 weeks out with setting a service up. But it'd be good to go ahead and get a temporary service down there and everything we need to,
Right.
because that's really going to be the holdup is electrical and getting inspections and stuff on that. And digging a footer, pouring a block building ain't going to take very long, The electrical work's going to take the longest.
So how close are we to the boundary lines? With this new hole? About 15 foot long?
Yes, we are. We're 2
Inside.
foot in. We're 2 foot inside of each boundary line. So I mean, we're going to be on, which we were going to be on the property line anyway with our building. That's sort of what Mr. Dwight wanted. He didn't want us to have. I mean, we have an easement around it to access it, but as far as the building goes, it will still be just a 15 by 15 square, and our pump is going to be sitting there on the inside of it. We might have to do a stick frame building by the end of it, just to make sure that we can have enough room around that well casing, but we'll have a building. I was talking to the electrical engineer today, and he asked if we need a building. I was like, yeah, I think they want a building. I don't think they want to sit out there with just a casing above ground on a panel
We
board.
need some kind of a little building.
Yeah, something.
Don't have a very big one, like you said, but we need something.
Right. And I talked to Andy about, he had brought up a good point about, hey, we need to have something in the roof to be able to flip open a hatch or something to be able to pull all that
Pull that
casing
pump,
out,
right.
and pull the pump if we need to, if you need to work on it. So
Right,
got the structural engineers working on that.
okay.
So that's all on ARPA, if nobody else has any questions on it. The rural development projects, they're in the same stage that they were last month as far as environmentals go. The environmental process is still underway. They've been out here to take their pictures and do their environmental assessment. And that process takes roughly 2 to 3 months. They have to send letters off to the tribes and to this State Historic Preservation Society, and they have to have a month's notice of the letters, and they have a month to review them, and then they can send them back. But once all that process goes with the environmental report, it shouldn't be too long to be able to have your preliminary engineering report, environmental report sent to USDA. They have to approve it, and then they can come back with us and say, hey, we're offering you this much grant, this much loan for the project, and then y'all take it from there on deciding on what you want to do with it.
Okay.
Kentucky Lake Reserve development. There's not really an update there.
They still communicate with TDOT.
I guess I haven't talked to them since, all that happened with TDOT.
Leslie, have you talked to him?
No, I mean, the sewer infrastructure is in service and
Right.
it's underneath the warranty. So we started the warranty period of 1 year and it's in the system, it's working, so.
Okay.
And as far as Tennessee, it concerns Tennessee Ridge, really, that's all that y'all are
That's all we
concerned
care
about
about,
is the force main. We're working up a TDOT encroachment permit for the water taps to see if they're gonna, approve that or not, but we'll get with Andy on that this week to kind of review those and see how we want to do that. Sykes Boulevard, we sent the plans and specs in last month. On it, they had revision requests. They're wanting a new way to upload these sewer calcs for some reason, but we're working through that with the state and going to revise those and send it back in. So
Okay.
once that gets done, I'm assuming, I haven't talked to the developer on his plans, to do it, but I would assume he's gonna, I guess it depends on if that little house sells, over here, see
Yeah.
how it does, but anyway. the 2026 infrastructure planning grant. Leslie, I don't know if you've talked with Amy and them anymore on what we need to do there.
We're
I
in the
know.
process right now of gathering engineering contacts. We
Yeah.
can send out an RFQ.
Right.
So once we do that and that everything has been submitted by time, then we can move forward with the actual
Agreement signing and
agreement
stuff.
assignment
Okay.
on the contract.
And once we get that signed agreement, we're good to begin work. And we will be contacting the guys that we use for CCTV and getting them,
Those should probably go out. I'm going to probably say one day this week.
Okay.
I'll send out all the RFQs out. And
Yep.
then, I think sometimes I might give them a 10 to 20 day turnaround period, depends on what Greater Nashville tells me I can do, but
Right.
the shortest available time is what I'm going to give them.
Right. Right.
So we can, keep moving.
Get
on
moving
this,
on
and then as soon as we know something, we'll get that contract together.
Okay. That sounds good. But yeah, that sort of wraps up my updates on the projects we got going. So any questions for me from anybody? Okay.
Appreciate you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Micah.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the phone calls. and
Yeah.
texts and
No problem.
Saturday morning telephone calls.
Let's see, the next thing on the agenda is the T-Deck Park and Rec. I hadn't heard anything out of Gerald, here since the last meeting. Leslie, you hadn't either, I guess.
There's actually a letter for you to sign, over there
I seen that.
concerning that.
Yeah, I
So
got it.
once that's signed, I can scan that and email that to Mr. Parrish tomorrow.
Okay,
That's the requesting of the additional funds.
right. I just read it, signed it right there. With communication from the manager, you got anything else you need to?
No, Micah touched on everything and then you touched on that, so.
Okay,
I will say though, real quickly, I am in the end, hopefully, of completing the 24 audit. Hopefully.
24 on.
The 24 audit, yes. Once that's completed, then we're only behind 1 year, and then the 26 audit will begin. So
See you, man. Thank you.
I'm hoping within the next week or so, we can wrap up that 24 audit. It has been a lot,
Yeah.
but we're trying to move it as quickly as possible. And I've got 5 auditors emailing me every day. Some days I get 20, 25 requests for different things. A couple times a day by different people. So I think we're at the end of it right now. I think they've got everything they've requested and they're working their magic at their end. So.
Okay,
And then as soon as that's finished, we're going to jump right into that 25 audit. The 26 audit year, of course, will end June 30th.
right.
And the deadline to have that submitted is December 31st. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's going to be close. We will have it, I feel, by March 31st. 31st is when the state starts sending out those letters.
I know all that's been,
I'm
A
hoping to
headache
have
for y'all.
3 audits completed by March
I
31st.
know it's been a headache for you.
So when I come in here and I don't have any hair, or my hair's gray, or
Right.
I'm dragging, you know why? Because I'm working on
Yeah, I
3
know,
audits right now.
it's been a deal to try to get done.
So we're getting there. Whatever it takes.
The new auditors we're working with, are they doing,
They're really good, and they're very thorough, which we want. That's
Yeah.
exactly what we want. But it is a lot of requests and a lot of, and they're new, so they're learning the system, they're learning the procedures, the policies. We have a different type of software than most governments have. Most governments have local government. We do not. We have Southern software, which is nothing really like local government. So they're really having to learn, our software program so they can understand the reports that I'm sending them. And then because they don't know, I'm having to take the time to explain it. So it's a very long procedure, but I feel like the next audit should go a lot more smoothly.
okay. I know it's been tough on y'all. Ed, you got anything?
No, I don't, Mayor. I'll just say I did review the ordinance prepared by Leslie about the street, and it's just fine. And I don't know if there's anything else that Leslie needs me to look at, but I'm here if you need me to look at it, just text it to me or email it and I can see it.
Okay,
But I don't have anything new, Mayor.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sid.
Mhm.
Well, the fire chief,
Well, he is not available. He's having issues at his home. He was going to have Kenneth Billings here, but he wasn't able to make it either. So he has supplied you all with a written fire report
okay.
in your packet.
Okay.
I did sit in about 30 minutes on their training
Oh, is that right?
here, and it was in detail, and there's a lot to learn.
Yeah, we did host a 16-hour training. So it was Tennessee Ridge Volunteer Fire Department. Aaron was here, and Houston County was also here. And it was really good. We had probably 20, 25 people attending, and it was Saturday and Sunday.
Okay,
And then the next weekend, I think they had training for, is it Narcan? They had Narcan training
Okay.
at the actual fire department, and they had several people attend that also.
it was pretty good training.
Oh, yeah, yeah, they had 2 guys from the state here. I think they travel around to different towns across Tennessee, and they put on those training classes.
Right, okay.
Very in-depth, a lot of information for those guys to learn,
Yep.
being volunteers.
Was a lot of volunteers here?
Oh, yeah, yeah, we had, about 25 of them?
Okay. Good deal then. Andy, you got anything? We'll move on down to unfinished business.
The first 2 on your agenda, those are the ones that I'm still working on. Again, it might be a while before I can actually gather those ordinances and information.
Okay,
With the audits that I'm working on and then the budget coming in, I just don't have time.
right.
It will be a few months.
Well, we can just table it. That's all right with y'all, the board.
Suits me.
But you will find in your packet a rate code sheet. You all were asking last meeting about the rate code, so you can keep this for your records for your review. Again, July 1st, there will be no minimum gallons usage. It'll just be a minimum bill. So that will change July 1st, but everything else will remain the same.
Good. I'll keep that, put it right there in my, along with that.
And also, until I'm ready to present to you all the ordinances for A and B, unfinished business, the packet concerning, that's including the ordinance that we're looking about changing, the 2006-42, the listing of business customers, the listing of ag customers, and the listing of multiple dwellings. I'm not going to include those in the packets because we're just repeatedly making copies over and over and
Right.
over again. So if you don't mind, try to keep those.
I've got
Don't lose them, okay?
Okay,
If you don't have them when we need them, then let me know. We'll make you a copy. But it's just going to save us time and money, paper, toner, all that kind of good stuff.
okay. Well, the commercial race business, second reading, ordinance 2026-326, designating School Street as a one-way street. We discussed that last month. So that's gonna be, School Street will actually be from the curve, no, it'll be out.
You can only,
It'll be
you're only
out.
going to be able to enter onto the State Highway 147. That's it. There will be no entering from 147 onto School Street. So the only way to enter School
So
Street
it'll
will be off of Old
it'll
Stewart
be an
Road,
egress road out.
From Old
out,
Stewart.
from
Road.
Old
From
Stewart
Old
Road,
Stewart.
from Old
And I
Stewart.
guess the only way you can get in now is Church Street.
Church Street and Main Circle. Okay. And what, we talked about McIntosh changing it.
It was not, you all decided to leave it alone
Okay.
for now.
Okay.
This is only making School Street the one-way street.
Well, this will be the second reading on making School Street a one-way street.
And as you notice, the effective date is June 1st. That is after school lets out, before it starts again.
Right.
Gives people a chance to get accustomed to it.
You got everybody get,
Gives us a chance to get the necessary
Signs.
agencies notified. It'll be EMS. I'll notify Central, and then they'll notify the,
they have to be
First
mailboxes
responders.
approved on that street.
no mailboxes. All the mailboxes are already on, already on the right-hand side, and that's their route.
Okay.
The only thing is they're going to have to do something about how they turn back around, but that's the post office problem, not our problem. And we just have to get a sign and figure out, I'm going to try to get permission from the state highway to put it to where they can see it. Because we can't just set a sign on the state highway without permission. We have to get permission. So I'm trying to figure out the best way, and Anna will go up there and look at it, where to set the signage that shows it's a one-way street. Because if you go to the end of it where you can see, we're right there at School Street. We can set it right there. But I don't know if it's going to be visible enough. So we're going to have to do a little bit of testing and see what we can do with the signage.
Good.
I'd love to be able to set one to where it's, facing also this way.
Mhm.
But to do that, it might have to be a little bit on the state highway.
I think we just put it right on the back of the stop sign.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're,
Shaped just like the stop sign, both together.
so we can put one there, yeah.
You'll see it.
We can put one on that side for the people coming west, coming from the
Coming from-
west. But the ones coming from the east, we need to set it to where they can see it, right there in the, like, by where the Browns residence is at.
Right.
Right.
Do not enter sign.
And then also I wanted to bring up, I would love to get a
Get a solar light.
a flashing stop sign for the end of Old Stewart Road. We had talked about putting the rumble strips there, but I would like to look into getting a flashing stop sign. Because, when you're coming up, you really don't see except for the very top of that sign. And maybe if something's flashing, you might give people
It's like Darryl just
A
talked
visual.
about, they make them now with solar panels.
Yeah,
Right.
they do. I seem like I've got a contact where to get them, where they're not ridiculous. The ones the city of Clarksville uses, they are ridiculous, but I've kind of did some digging. Because I've been looking for our crosswalk at the Nazarene Church, put some,
Yeah.
and they're still probably $1,000, but it's better than $10,000.
Yeah.
That,
I think T-Dot told me about $5,000 for like.
you can find
Brian's
them.
checking for me and he's
You
getting
can find
some
them
prices.
cheaper. I mean, T-Dot and like our city, they're high end, but you can get them decent.
Okay.
Probably get them on Amazon.
I mean, that's not anything that you all have to approve budget-wise. It's just something that I want you to be aware of and,
Okay.
get approval. Since we're changing a sign, we're actually adding to it, so.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm sorry, we got off the motion, but
We got to
I make a motion.
make a motion.
Yeah. Make School Street a one-way.
This will be the second reading, so after this,
It's the law.
it's the law. That's right.
I second Brian's motion.
Okay.
So, all in favor, Mayor Odom,
Yes.
Darrell Ellison,
Yes.
Brian Bumpus.
Yes.
David Wood.
Yes.
4 yeses, motion passes.
Okay. Let's see, new business, set dates for special call meetings. We got, that's concerning the budget. You got one here May the 18th.
yes.
that is next week after next. What day is it?
That is.
It's the third Monday?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks,
2
2 weeks.
Monday?
So it would be the
Okay.
third Monday, right?
I won't be here.
All I need is a quorum,
I know I won't be here.
so I have to have a quorum. We have to have these meetings.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah. If not, I really can't go much later because of the way that I have to get it passed and then get it in, published in the paper. And,
And on a special call meeting, we just come in and meet just on that particular thing.
yes, so it will definitely be the first reading on the budget.
It'll be a very quick meeting.
It will be. It'll be for sure the first reading on the budget, and then if there's any necessary budget amendments that I have to have. So that's all those two meetings are going to be about, those two
The
things, and
second-
that's
The
it.
second reading is, of course, if anybody's got to, we can discuss anything in the budget. That's all we can
Yes.
meet about. I can be here the 18th.
So does May 18th work for everyone else?
You know what? I think we'll be back the 18th.
Okay.
I should
I
be.
think we're just going for the weekend.
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Good, Carol? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Diane, send me the text.
Well, it didn't work last time. You.
I was actually caught in a storm.
Oh, I know. We were trying to get out of here. You all left.
I was in
And we're
Dover
trying-
trying to get back to here, and it like blew
I'm telling
me
you.
off the road.
Well, I had a house full of people show up at my
Oh,
house.
did you?
I'm the only one that got a storm
Oh,
shelter.
yeah.
Come on.
Well, we were trying to get out of here quickly, and we're like, we're in the best place ever.
Oh, yeah,
Why are
that's-
we trying to get out of
We just
here?
turned around, I was like, why are
We're
we
in a
leaving?
safer.
I should
Yeah,
say.
that's right.
We just-
Oh, you didn't.
Yeah. Oh, man, it blew through here. Okay, May the 18th, 6 PM for the first one, then we'll,
And then June 8th, the second one.
And do they have to be like 2 weeks apart, or?
Well, the readings have to be at least, no, I think it's 7 days. I think it's 7 days between readings.
what is
But it gives me a
Day
chance
eight,
to do any
It's on,
changes that you all might want, so.
Probably on a Monday, on the
Second.
It is the second Monday of
Second
June.
Monday of June,
Mhm.
as far as I know of.
Yeah, I should be around.
Okay.
Be-
What about y'all?
I can't.
Should be.
Okay. Okay, so we need a first reading
No,
on that.
no, just approval.
Okay,
I mean, just
Oh,
verbal
okay.
approval of it, yeah.
so you'll actually have a first reading that we can do that
Yes.
in May.
On May 18th, yes.
Okay, okay. Commissioner, y'all got anything on anything?
Leslie, we talked about these rumble strips and you said there didn't need to be a motion, but do I
It
need
doesn't
to?
need to be, no, it doesn't, I mean, they're not expensive enough to change
Are
even
we
though.
still talking about putting them on Old Stewart Road or just,
What do you think about now, wait and see? You go to one way, you may slow it down.
I mean, it's up to y'all. I don't,
You know what I mean? Because
they're not, you
you
know,
may
like I
not
said, they're
speed. and slow.
I mean, we only need, they're not that expensive and
$56.
Oh,
we only have to do the one side now.
So you probably have to have 4 of them. You're looking at $300 for them.
It's, yeah, and then put 4 on Old Stewart
And that'll
Road
be-
before the stop sign.
That'll be for, you know, all the way across that one lane coming, you know,
Right.
from Old Stewart,
okay.
which it saved us really by making it one way, because you wouldn't have to.
Well, we can always start off with a one-way, and we'll know quick enough, just hold on to that.
Yeah.
If you want to, and if it don't work out, we can always buy them.
Yeah, and we can't do anything till July 1st
Yeah, it's
anyway.
just, I mean, it's Granger, so
Yeah, they're not that expensive.
they'll never run out of those.
Oh,
I
okay.
promise.
And they're pretty easy to put down, too.
They're, yeah, it's like a steel rod.
They come out of school now, so they're all going to go right. They can't go
Right.
If they're going out Old Stewart, they're not going here.
Go around, down Church Street and come back around.
So we'll have to have a sign for them coming out of the school too, so no left turn.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think.
It'll be right
I think it
across
will
from
slow
the,
down.
yeah, from the exit.
That's the problem with slowing down, is they're gonna get, they can't keep
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Have you told the sheriff department about this? About what the plans?
No, I mean, we just now passed on the second reading, so I'll contact Central and they can contact all the first responders and local law and all that stuff, so. But I will definitely follow up with the letter myself. Bus garage will have to know, different things like that. so. Post office is aware. I just have to send a letter, just letting them have it for their file.
Okay. Nobody has anything else? I hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second?
All in favor, Mayor Odom,
Yes?
Darrell Allison.
Yes.
Ron Bumpus.
Yes.
David Wood,
Yes.
4 yeses. Motion passes.
We're adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.